Why did the Jewish community donate their temple for your school in 1968?
Wasn't as straight ahead as that. We were wandering around with no place to find a lodging. And at this time, we were in terrible war.
Between the African American community and the Jewish community.
Yes. And the Jewish people wanted somehow to bring peace. And we worked for 2 years what kind of a negotiation this would be. They started out with expecting us to pay $800. I said, not on your tintype. Because wherever there is a commercial community, that commercial community donates to the community which pushes them forward. So that's your job. Well, that pulled and tugged till Dr. King got murdered.
That's right.
And then when he got murdered, they didn't think they could possibly charge us for anything. And they thought it would bring healing. And we were the least controversial thing around. We weren't, I can't think of what now, but we weren't in contention. One of my very, very good friends, Eli Goldston, he was the head of 52 energy companies, like Eastern Gas, Boston Gas, and no Jews had ever owned the utilities. And I have been saying to him all the time, he was brilliant. He had 8 Harvard degrees before he was 50.
My.
I used to say, you couldn't bear to be as smart as you, Eli. And to be denied as we. He could hear that. He had been a poor kid in Ohio, I think Columbus, I'm not sure. And his uncle had sent him to Harvard because he could see his brilliance. And Eli and I were very good friends. So he hit on the idea that the transfer of the property would do a lot of ameliorative work.
To
something black. And then looking around at us and being my personal good friend.
So that a riot wouldn't occur because of Martin Luther King's assassination.
Right.
Yes.
And he did it. Of course, there was an element of the Jewish community, the poor people. The poorest people never know how things happen. They decided I had blackmailed him out of it. So that rumor persists till today.
Really?
Oh, yes.
Oh.
There are a lot of people who don't even talk to me.
Oh. Because of that?
Because of that.
Oh, my.
He got 10 rich Jewish businessmen to put $25,000 apiece together and give it to the Jewish community that was in it. They were Hasidic. And they're divorced from most thought. And they didn't understand how that happened. And they said that I somehow forced these 10 men into doing that. I always wondered if I was so powerful, why I didn't get something more significant. Why would I settle for one building, which was in disrepair at the time?
Yes.
You might remember when you were here last that the property was burned.
Yes.
That's why it was arson.
Yes.
We all knew it. But there was no point making more further argument.
I see.
And that rumor persists till today.
Now, you moved the Elma Lewis School into the temple. That's correct?
Into the school. It was a temple and a shul.
Yes.
The temple was too destroyed because these same people who were Hasidic could never acknowledge that as religious property. So they didn't mind burning that up. And in the school, they moved the kids to Brookline.
I see. And you suspect that the arsonists were
I don't suspect.
black?
I know.
You know.
They were Jewish.
They were Jewish. I see.
We all, everybody knows. Oh, where are we going with this? We could still have been fighting about it today.
Mm-hmm.
But those were glory days. And we expect to return to the more glorious days in Timbuktu. I have had our curator of our museum, who was a marvelously brilliant man, and who will be right behind me. He and our music director the thing goes on the same because they think what we think. Those young men have been with me since they were in their 20s. And I don't know if I should tell you how old they are. The music director had his 62nd birthday.
Oh, my.
Sunday.
Well, you said earlier that you like like family around you.
I have family and continuity.
Yeah, continuity.
If your children don't know what you're teaching, how can you teach somebody else?
That's right. Exactly. That is.
If
so
you
true.
don't live it, and this whole project has constricted my life. There are things I wouldn't do. I wouldn't say. I wouldn't let people hear, because then that's me and it's them. And I have no right to pass them an ugly legacy.
Yes. But then you've had other fires, too.
There were 3 of them in all.
3 altogether. Were the fires responsible for the Elma Lewis School to close?
Yes, because we had been some 10 or 15 years getting a property. I don't know how we could make it felt by people how denuded of property black people have been. When Barry Gaither, who was our director's name, came to work, I brought Arthur Phillips to visit the creativity. He said, "This man's a genius. This man's a genius. What we really need is some more storefront museums."
Mm-hmm.
I said, "Is that what we aspire to? Is that what you tell your young geniuses? Get another storefront?"
Very good question. And Ms. Lewis, do you suspect that the other fires were racially motivated?
They were 3 from the same source.
I see.
Everybody knows that. But that's another thing I don't like about the status quo. That everything has got to be kept the way it is. You have to find out some nefarious way to keep it.
And approximately how many students have graduated from the Elma Lewis School?
Are you sitting down? About 1.5 million.
All right. And you were personally involved
with most of those children.
Most of those children.
Most of them till maybe 6, 7 years ago.
You have all of these creative foot soldiers all over the place.